It's time for Michigan's retirement coach, Mike Douglas.
Changes are a-coming. What's the expression? The only thing constant in life is change?
Yes.
That's the expression, right? Or the only thing that's certain is death and taxes. Quote Benjamin Franklin. Only thing sure in life. Well, when it comes to our 401ks, there are things that we need to know that are coming in 2026. And that's what we're going to talk about here on this episode today. This is Certified Financial Planner Mike Douglas. I'm Heather Branch, here with Mike to ask him. I mean, the goal is to ask him about the things that you're seeing, hearing from whatever your news outlet sources are, maybe your friends or your family. But this is, I didn't realize this was like a time frame thing. I guess, I don't know, are the laws around 401ks changing? Is that what's happening here? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, let me get to it. Beginning next year, the common every man and woman, the common 401k investor is going to have access to alternative investments. Portfolio manager Jason Katz was telling Fox Business that this new rule, it comes with a warning. So this is Jason Katz on the alternative investment opportunity.
Think hedge funds, think private equity, think private credit. Now, this is great to the extent that it's further diversification. You don't need a good stock market for some of those investments to work out. But there's the other side of that. These are opaque. They're not as liquid. The fees are higher. And you're going to have a huge universe of these new funds chasing a finite universe of private investments. So this should be a portion of your assets. It will help mitigate the volatility of your returns, but don't get over your skis. 10 or 20% at most in these alternative investments.
Couple of things. One, michigansretirementcoach.com, or click on the links we got posted in the show notes. If you have questions about your 401k options, investments, etc., how alternative investments might work for you. Now, back to you, Mike, because one, it's going to depend on whether your 401k plan provider even allows these options for you, right? It's not like everybody's suddenly going to have these alternative investment options, right?
Yeah, it's not like when you refresh the website, it's all different.
Right, okay.
What happens is, so every 401k has what's called a 338 or a fiduciary person who chooses the funds inside of your 401k.
Okay.
So when you're the consumer, when you're this guy who goes to work, you do your job, and they say, hey, we got a 401k plan. And you go in there and you go to the website, right, or whatever it is, and you go through and you choose your investments. Someone chooses those for them to go in. It's not like a pre-populated mandated list. So some advisor or some company is the fiduciary that goes through and chooses out of the whole world of investments.
Yeah.
Here's what we think are the 25 or 30 we should offer.
Okay. All right.
Only time those change is typically once a year when the fiduciary redoes the structure inside. And a lot of times it's little stuff. It's like, hey, we were using the State Street 2025 target fund. We're going to the Vanguard 2025 target fund. It's little changes. This is a major change.
Okay.
So the whole idea here is that for the most part, and we all know this, but 401ks are one of the most incredible savings tools that we've ever had as a country. However, they typically give you some of the crappiest options. Mm-hmm. So the good news is that it's forced compliance, right? Like it's a super easy way to save money rather than cutting a check to a savings account.
Yeah. It
just goes and it disappears and your company matches it. It's a beautiful thing. And then they say, invest in something. Well, you don't know. You're not a financial advisor. You're an electrical line worker, or you do whatever you do for a living. And you're like, I guess I'll look at this report. And the report says, well, the stock market did this last year, and here's what these funds did. And you say, okay, I guess I'll do the best I can.
Can we just point out, remember the conversation you and I had a few weeks ago? It was actually a couple months ago now, off mic. And I was saying to you, because I sit here, have these conversations with you every week. I am not a licensed advisor. I know nothing. I am a radio professional. But these conversations, I feel empowered with all this information. I was so proud to tell you, well, I was looking through my 401k options and I'm doing this, this, and this. And Mike was like, yeah, you did everything wrong, Heather. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. I was like, oh, good
you're
job,
so
Heather.
Cute. That was great.
Good job.
Good for you for trying, but also you did it all wrong. So let's go through.
Right. And and my biggest complaint is about 401ks is that investing is like walking into, now in Michigan we say a Meijer, but think about like a Walmart Supercenter.
Yeah.
Or the biggest store you can think of. And you walk in the front door. And how many individual products are in a giant Walmart Supercenter? thousands,
Probably
thousands of things.
multiple thousands.
And you walk in there and you say, holy cow, I could get anything out of this whole store. That's so great. That's kind of like investing. If you just take some money and get an E-Trade account or a Schwab account and you say, I want to get into investing, there's so many things you can choose from. It's unbelievable. A 401k, they say, hey, listen, we kind of pre-built a little basket for you. And so you go into, they say, go to aisle 6, halfway down on the left-hand side, there's a section of shelving with 30 products on it. Go there and choose what you want. And so you go there and you say, all right, well, yeah, there's some stuff I can do here. I can get some large cap. I can get some international. I can get these things. But then part of you is still kind of going, man, there's a lot of stuff here that's not on this shelf.
Yeah.
And it'd be great if I could go do that. So what is happening now is that 401ks are being introduced more space for new ideas. And for a long time, they said you can't do certain types of things. Like the laws said.
I was about to say, that's what I was going to ask. So was it the law that said they couldn't have alternative investments? And so the law is changing in 2026. It's allowing 401k plans to have alternative. Okay, got it.
Right. And the law was there for a good reason. Alternative investments can be highly speculative. They are not as liquid. Like Jason Katz was saying, there's higher fee structures to them.
The companies don't have to be as transparent about what they're doing with your money.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, the difference is, though, like if you want to invest in companies that maybe aren't public, you want to invest in IPOs, you want to invest in, this is a big thing right now is private equity and private credit, right? So you can invest in the stock market, but sometimes when the stock market's doing poorly, the private equity world does really well. Sometimes when the private equity does poorly, the market does really well. So it creates an actual opportunity for hedging and for protection of your account. So ironically, by introducing a more potentially dangerous investment, was what they're being ruled as, right? Like an alternative. An alternative is always like it's an unknown speculative investment. It can give you good diversification in a bad market cycle. Why? Because if I am in the business of loaning money and markets are crashing, sometimes during market crashes, businesses need to borrow money to stay afloat or to keep going.
Okay.
So if I'm in the business of lending money to companies, we may see some of these correlations. The market goes down, they need money, they borrow money from us, and we're good. You don't have to be the one to provide the money, but you get to now potentially invest in companies who lend money. That's what private credit is, or venture credit. So there's things like that you'll be able to invest in. They also introduced like 2 years ago the ability to put annuities inside of 401ks, which is a newer concept in that space. 401as and 403bs, like hospital and university plans, they've had those forever.
Okay.
Where you say, oh yeah, I've got you work for University of Michigan or Michigan State, and they'd say, okay, well great. Well, you have the 401a option, 403b, and inside of it there's an annuity option.
Okay.
But it wasn't a real annuity; it was a 10-pay annuity.
Okay.
So now they're saying actually inside of a 401k, you can even buy your own annuity if you want. If your company's not going to give you a pension, maybe you should consider part of that. Now, I wouldn't do it till you're closer to a retirement. I wouldn't do it in your 40s because you should be making money. And in your 40s and 50s, you should be investing pretty aggressively. Okay. And then as we get to that 5-year window before retirement and we start de-risking, if mine offers annuity, maybe I should put some of that into an annuity and see what it'll pay. There's good things there. But again, it's not going to be like now all of a sudden it's offered in my 401k.
Okay.
When your fiduciary recalibrates your portfolio and they come back and say, all right, here's your new list of offerings, probably around the first of the year, you may start seeing things like this. A really important thing Jason Katz said was, don't do it with all the money. Don't be so excited about the term private equity that you're like, oh, great, here's my chance to become a billionaire. No, you're buying small shares into a private equity firm.
Yeah.
They will become billionaires.
Yep.
You will make money. But don't think of it the wrong way. Don't get it twisted. Okay. So in the same way that we would say you should have so much in equities, maybe so much in bonds, and so much in cash or alternatives, it falls in that alternative space. I like what he said, 10 to 20% at the most. Why? Because the market still works time and time again.
Yeah.
If you want to be more aggressive, choose technology-based market positions. Choose the NASDAQ, choose emerging markets, choose technology, and then also buy into some, interesting venture capital or alternative ideas that should marry well together, not move in sync, but sometimes be decorrelated and can both be successful or one can go up while one goes down. So I think that's a good thing to do. keep it diversified. So if we had to say the top 3 takeaways from this, number 1, don't overinvest in alternatives.
Okay.
Number 2, don't forget the market. The market has won over and over and over again. We need to quit acting like it doesn't win over and over again. And then number 3, understand how the investments you want to invest in work before you invest in them. That's the whole reason for a long time they didn't let people invest in alternatives in their portfolio, in their 401k. Why? It's complicated.
Yeah.
And some of these are sophisticated investments. And I'm saying this in a nice way. Most of us aren't sophisticated investors.
No.
Why? Because we're busy being a nurse or a doctor
teacher,
or a mechanic or a teacher.
Yeah.
I got to deal with these 25 kids running around my classroom. I have no time to figure out if this is a good hedge fund or not, and even then you go ask somebody who does this for a living and they say, gosh, hedge funds are complicated. It's a really interesting thing.
If you get that, because sometimes people, and this is what, I appreciate about our conversations, financialese, people talk about legalese. I'm like, legalese, psh, financialese. I swear on my hair, you turn on MSNBC, they're just throwing terms around just to show prove their muscle and weight. I'm like, do you even know what you're talking about? Because I can't follow. No. And I have these conversations with Mike Douglas every week, and I am not understanding what these people are talking about. And it's very, very frustrating. I graduated from college. I have a career. I'm successfully married. Why can't I figure this thing out?
Yeah. Because it's its own world, and a world within a world within a world. It's the inception of money.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's so many things inside of it. Say, I can invest in the market. And I think that's the easiest, most consistently successful way to do it. Throw it in the S&P, throw it in the NASDAQ, throw it in some things and let it go. And you will, if you keep investing, you will have a good retirement. Then you say, all right, well, this is kind of my jam. I'm starting to enjoy the investing space. I'd like to have some alternatives. Great. But if you're going to invest part of your life savings into it, you should do some research. So I'm not asking you to become an investor or overly sophisticated, but at least do some due diligence. Now more than ever, it's easy to grab information. So I don't know what disclosures we have to put on this, but take the name of the thing, throw it in ChatGPT and say, I'm 55 years old. Is this a good investment inside my 401k? It won't give you advice, but it'll give you kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly about it.
Yeah.
Do at least some research, because just to throw it in there, then you say, oh, well, I don't want to be in there. Sometimes you're tied in there for a couple of years and you can't get out.
Yeah.
Understand that.
Yeah.
And if you're about to retire in 2 years and you dump money into a 5-year MLP or something that you can't get out of,
what's an
and
MLP?
then you retire,
is that an alternative investment?
Multi-limited partnership. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a way of investing in alternatives.
Okay.
And you do that and it's like, oh, now I'm tied in for 5 years. Well, I'm retiring in 2 years. What do I do about that?
Wait.
Yeah. You got 3 years in the doghouse until you get out. Now, hopefully you get good returns. You get a benefit from it. But at the same time, man, if I had known it was 5 years, I wouldn't have gone into it 2 years before my retirement. So just understand how they work and what it is and build a plan from there.
Understand all the things when it comes to your savings. You deserve that. You work very hard for your money. You want your money to be there for you. And of course, you deserve the clarity, the knowledge, information around it. For a lot of us, yes, Google and ChatGPT or any AI tool that you use, it's helpful to start getting some ideas, but it really helps to sit down with somebody that can explain to you human to human. All right. And also answer your questions on a micro level. That's what Mike and his team, they're here to do for you. So if you have questions about your 401k when it comes to all the investment options that are within that plan, or your 403b or whatever it is that you're invested in, Mike and his team, they're here for you. MichigansRetirementCoach.com. You can go there to start the conversation with Mike and his team to help understand what's going on with your retirement savings. We've also got links posted in the show notes. Or again, it's MichigansRetirementCoach.com. Let's get to work helping you understand. It's your money. You got this.
Thanks for listening to Michigan's Retirement Coach with Mike Douglas. To learn more, visit MichigansRetirementCoach.com.
Michael Douglas is an investment advisor representative of Stewards Wealth Planning, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Michael Douglas is licensed in your state, please call 517-323-7526. Stewards Wealth Planning, LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Michael B. Douglas, NPN number 9650939.